What's up, guys and gals, and welcome back to the Nerd Castle. Today in the world of indie games, we're going to be taking a look at a title called Exanima. I haven't played this game in a very, very long time. In fact, since I swapped over to doing daily impressions videos. So I've never actually played this game while applying any sort of critical eye to it. It's always been kind of in a Let's Play format. So we're going to dive on in today and take a look at it. The game continues to be in early access as it has been for the last 5 or 6 years. If you've never seen Exanima before, hard game to describe. This game is kind of a mixture of like almost Diablo action RPG, but not really, with a little bit of Mount and Blade, but not really. This is like one of those games that really kind of goes in its own direction and is very hard to describe to people except like to see it in action itself. One thing I will say is that when you first start out playing this game, I highly recommend you make use of the arena mode and you make use of the practice mode. Putting a couple hours into the practice mode, if you find that you enjoy the combat but you just don't kind of get it, is a really, really good idea, because I found that this isn't really like a game that you play with like your mind. And bear with me here, this is a game you play kind of with your intuition. And so some games have a control scheme that sort of require you to like memorize the keys, and then like if the enemy does this, then you do this. And this game does incorporate a little bit of that. But the combat system is complicated enough that what I found is you just sort of need to intuitively react to situations without thinking about it if you want to get fast and you want to get good at like taking down enemies. Because even killing your first foe in this game can be a massive, daunting task. It's a hard game. And so anyways, Exanima. We're going to dive on in today, spend about 25-30 minutes with the game and see if it's something you wanted to add to your wish list or otherwise pass on. If after watching this you did indeed want to get the game for yourself, there's a Steam link down below. If you find that it's not for you, I will have something else for you tomorrow. So anyways, down there you'll also find a link to my Discord and my Twitch stream, just in case you wanted to swing through. There's a good chance I'll be streaming this game at some point. It's an odd sort of game that kind of gets under your skin, even though you're like bad at it. That's also another addendum here, is like, I have like 10 hours in this game and I'm still not that great at it. If I have a two-handed weapon, I do reasonably well, actually. I'm not bad with a two-handed weapon, but with a one-handed weapon, it can get a little bit hectic. So let's go ahead and start off. The first thing you're going to do in this RPG is make your character. I have 2 origins unlocked as of right now. I have the Unknown and I have the Villager. With the Villager, it seems like things move around a little bit. So I was playing last night after I unlocked the Villager, and like the starting dungeon, the items and whatnot are in the same places, but like it seems like there's small differences when you're playing between the two. So we'll go with the Unknown since that's what everybody starts out with. We get to make our character right here. That's a pretty rockin' bowl cut you got there, my man. Just plopped a cereal bowl up on your head. I like it. Okay, we've got kind of like the elf hair over here too. All right, and then we've got like kind of a tasteful duelist ponytail. I like it. We'll go with that. What kind of beard we want to rock out? Yeah, there we go. The Lemmy. We gotta have the Lemmy stash, dude. That's just required. You can't swap around your physique or whatever if you want to. You can make yourself like older, or you can make yourself, oh, I like how the kind of spine deforms as they get older and the arms pull back. Anyways, you can make yourself like ridiculously buff but also a little chonky. You can make yourself thin but, you know, buff. You can make yourself ultra skinny, or you can make yourself ultra chonky. I would recommend making yourself the smallest target possible if you're trying to cheese the game. Since the combat is entirely physics-based, the smaller a target you are, the better a time you're going to have. There we go. We'll go with F right there. I want the voice that sounds the most like a dog barking. That's my stuff. Apparently, my last name was Quaffman. I guess I'll go with it. Honestly, that kind of caught me by surprise and made me laugh. I guess we are now Quaffman. The game's inventory system is all drag and drop. If you've ever played anything really old like Ultima, that's what this game's inventory system reminds me of. I guess we want to be a blood or a crip. I don't know. Either way, we got to choose our gang affiliation here. It doesn't look like I really have anything. Forget all knowledge about that technique. You know, I'd like to be able to have riposte or whatever. You do have carried progression in between runs to a certain extent, so you always make some little bit of progress even if you lose. This game is permadeath. I feel like I should bring that up early on in the video. When you die, you're done for good. They added checkpoints to the game from the last time I played it. That was not a thing when I played the game last time. When I played this game, when you died, that was it. You started over from the beginning. It didn't really matter like how far in you were. You banked some of your XP and some of your skills and whatnot, and then you went back to the beginning. Now there is kind of a continuation system where it checkpoints from time to time, which I've actually found has been really, really useful for actually making progress and getting further on into the game. Let's go ahead and start it off. We've got to choose a magical power out here. I haven't gotten that far with this, but this is also a new mechanic that they've introduced since the last time I checked out the game. It does have magic now. I'm just going to take Calm, which apparently clears the target's mind of concerns and aggressions. I would actually love to have that spell in real life. I'd cast it on myself all the time. All right, so here we are in the dungeon, face down. It's okay, work yourself on up, little buddy. You'll be fine. So the game's controls. You can control the game two different ways. You can control it with your right mouse, which makes you, like, walk around. Or you can control the game with WASD, which functions very much like... So when you play the game with the mouse, it's with respect to the cursor. However, if you use W, A, S, and D, your movement is going to be with respect to kind of the facing of your character. And so it feels very much like Resident Evil, I guess, would be like the closest thing I could compare it to. There's a torch on the ground. Everything in this game can be manipulated and moved around. I don't think we can move those stones right there, but we can pick up this torch, and I would recommend that you do so because the game is incredibly dark at the beginning, and that's like one of those things that you're just going to have to like learn to get around. I've gotten by running a two-handed weapon and dragging people back to lit areas, but you can do what you like to do. Another important aspect of this game that you're going to need to be aware of before you even go into combat is that tab puts you into combat mode. You'll know that you're in there because the reticle turns red. The basic way that combat works, and I'm going to give you like a brief primer to combat. So once you go into combat mode, all of your WASD movement is going to be with respect to where your cursor's at. That means that if I'm facing this way, the A key actually makes me move right, and the D key swaps and makes me move left, whereas here, A makes you go left and D makes you go right. The attacks. You need to know your attacks, otherwise you're not really going to make much progress. You've got horizontal strikes, vertical strikes, and thrusts. So horizontal strikes, if you kind of go anywhere from the center over to about 45 degrees to the right, what you're going to end up with is a horizontal attack like so. If you go about 40 degrees this way, well, not far enough. Okay, if you go about like right there, you can do a backhanded swing. So basically, anything from like this quadrant back will give you a backhand, and anything from this quadrant forward with respect to your facing will give you a right to left swing. If you want to do an overhead, you basically double tap your left mouse click, and you hold the second one, and you'll do an overhanded chop. And then from there, if you hold down Alt and you press the mouse, you will stab. Now, stabbing is kind of a unique mechanic in this game, because stabbing actually goes exactly to where your cursor is, which means that unlike a lot of the other attacks, there's verticality to your stabs. So the point that you have your cursor on the enemy, and when you stab, you want to keep it there. So if you want to stab him in the chest, do it on the chest. If you want to stab him in the gut, do it on the gut. And as far as I know, it's the only attack in the game that functions that way. You can also speed up your attack by incorporating your hips on into it. That'll make him swing his hips a little bit more. All damage is calculated in this game based on velocity and how fast the weapon is moving, and so that's a good thing to be aware of. Let's get moving, though. We can actually play the game now that you've got a rough idea of what's going on. The best way I can describe this game to people is if you've ever seen two drunk guys knife fight each other, that's pretty much how combat works in this game. It's two drunk guys knife fighting each other, and it seems really unintuitive and really clunky when you first start out. I'm like 10 hours in, and sometimes it still feels really unintuitive and clunky to me in weird situations, but you start to get a handle for it. Another thing that new players need to know with Exanima is not every zombie wants to fight you. So like we opened up this room, and there was a zombie inside of it, but not all zombies are hostile. A common mistake I see from new players in Exanima is they'll bust on into the dungeon like the Kool-Aid Man and just, oh yeah! And they'll just start swinging at everything, and then they'll get, like, resoundingly trounced, and then they'll be like, man, this game is hard, I don't like it. You don't have to fight everybody. It's unnecessary. Ooh, we got a two-handed axe in the first chest. So we've got leather trousers over here. They're fairly coarse in a somewhat worn condition. Do they give us better resist than what we have, though? They do indeed give us better resist than what we have, so I'll take it. The early game is where this game is the absolute deadliest. If you can survive, like, late into the first level, or you can survive into the second level, you'll actually have enough gear to where you shouldn't be getting, like, two-tapped anymore. But, like, in the early game, you gotta be really, really careful. I'm gonna take the battle axe, and I'm gonna put that over on my two-handed. I very much prefer bill hooks if I'm going with two-handed weapons. You can press R at any time so long as your character is at a full stop, and it'll allow you to swap between weapon sets. I am not a huge fan of our loadout for right now, and so up here on the right, there's a room that has a bad guy in it that's actually hostile by default, but I'd rather not deal with that until I've got a weapon that I'm comfortable with for one-handed. And so I'm going to keep on dungeon crawling real fast and see if I can find something that's a little bit more in tune with my play style. And so over here we got a pair of gloves laying on the ground. These gloves are always over here, and they are in bad condition, but hey, it's better than nothing. And since this game has positional damage, like if you get hit in your hands, it makes a check to see how much armor you have on your hands, and then basically you take damage based on that. And the hands are actually kind of curious in this game. They tend to accidentally get dragged with knives, things like that. Is that a two-handed hammer or a one-handed hammer? That's a two-handed hammer. Okay. Well, I was hoping it was a one-handed so I could swap it on in. I don't think there's anything on this room to the left. I don't think that this room is, like, inherently useful. You click and drag doors in order to open them, if you didn't know that. It pretty much works the exact same way if you've ever played, like, Amnesia or anything like that. That'll work. There we go. A big old long saw blade that I can use. Not that great for thrusting, though, since it doesn't have a tip on it. I'll go ahead and we'll drop that over there on the shelf because I don't want to carry it around with me. And then over here, I think there's a chest on one of these shelves, isn't there? No, maybe I've got it mixed up with a different room. I thought there was a chest on one of the shelves over here. But we do have a weapon now, so I'm capable of defending myself to some extent. Does that have a point on it? Hold on, I wanted to see, like in the early game, I find that it's a long knife. Yeah, that'll work. That's actually a little bit better. It's got a drop point on it, and it's got like a critical space right there if you can land with it. I'll take that instead of like this improvised saw blade. It looks like the lengths are about similar anyways. It's going to be a little while until you get a real weapon in this game, so like just kind of cruise. Be careful about bumping into zombies. That'll make them go into hostile mode. Like if you throw a shoulder into them, you're like, ugh, get out of my way. Like they'll get grumpy about it, so don't do that. Let's see. Is there anything inside this room that might be useful? Looks like we've got a couple of poles over here, a whole lot of tongs. We've got a short hammer. There's a book over here that's got like a lore entry into it. This game does have a rich sense of lore. There are notes and things laying around everywhere. It starts out sort of cryptic and Dark Souls style, where you really have like no idea what's going on. You're kind of got that stranger in a strange land thing happening. With the middle mouse button, that's how you rotate the camera, by the way. Sometimes there's like a weird delay on it. You can also use V to automatically rotate the camera behind your character, although I would recommend you unbind the V key. And the reason is thusly. A lot of players get into the habit of constantly readjusting the camera to always be behind them. I am of the opinion that this game should have a chase camera, and that would make the game a little bit better. But that being said, it doesn't. Therefore, spamming the V key as a way to kind of like force a chase camera, it becomes kind of a crutch for new players after a while. You really should learn to move your character both forward-facing and backwards-facing. So basically, you should learn to play the game with the controls right side up and also upside down. And until you do that, you're going to end up in bad situations where you're like critically ineffective against foes. We do have our battle axe over here, which I'm not that upset about. I'm not going to fight. Well, maybe I will fight this guy because there's a guy in this room right here, and I need to drag him back into this room. And he's going to add on. So if a zombie sees you fighting another zombie, they'll jump in. So maybe, just did he open that door? Oh, he did. He opened the door. Okay, well, let's go into combat mode then, and we'll see if we can drop this guy real quick. Oh, okay, good swing, good swing. All right, you're dope, you're dope. There we go, have an axe to the stomach. Here, have an axe again. Enjoy being dead. So your health bar, it's at the bottom left. It's the yellow with the red on it. Every time you get hit, depending on your armor, you will take permanent damage and you will take temporary damage. So the red is permanent. You take that forever. Your health bar will never go past that, except for very, very rare items that you'll find around that allow you to heal back up to full. But the yellow should regenerate with time. And so that guy's been dealt with right there. I shouldn't have taken that first hit, but I got over-aggressive with my first swing, and I didn't expect him to react that quickly. So technically that should have been a flawless, but I fumbled. Over here, inside this room, there's a treasure chest, and there's a guy that wants to fight us, but there's a lot of debris in here, and so, like, I don't like to take the fight in this room. We can open the door right there. And this guy should aggro. I don't know if he'll be able to get to us, though, with the door and also with that barrel in the way. Here, let me help you with this. I thought there was a chest in that room, but I guess not. Let's see if he works his way through. Think he can get on in here, little buddy? There you go. You done it. There we go. We'll get him with a good little axe smack right there. Another little axe smack right there, and down he goes. We can also loot these dead bodies, by the way. Like, this guy has a, like, tunic or, like, a tabard. That'll give us an extra little bit of slash resistance, thus limiting the amount of red bar we accumulate. I thought that there was a treasure chest inside this toilet over here, but I guess not. Okay, well, thus far, we're actually progressing decently well. I normally kind of, like, I accept that in the early game, I'm going to take damage from time to time. I accept that, because in the early game, when you don't have armor, and, like, the physics system is what it is, sometimes, like, you'll step past an enemy, but their knife will be, like, at a low ready, and they won't actually be attacking with it, but you'll move fast enough that it'll activate the physics for the knife, and it'll just kind of scrape you and deal a little bit of damage as you go by. Like, I've learned to accept that sometimes I'm going to take damage just in maneuvering around my enemies. I don't recall if there was anybody inside this room. It would appear to be so, yes. There is a zombie over here, and if I remember correctly, this one is indeed hostile. So we kind of want to get her attention. Hey. You. Ugh, this is dubious. Why is she not aggroing? She should definitely be aggroing. Here, let me see if I can, like, move that. There we go. Get that out of the way. Get that out of the way. There we go. Now she's on us. Okay, so I want to drag her back to a place where I can actually fight her. There's a nice little axe hit right there. Another nice little axe hit. Oh, caught that one a little bit. Let me back up for a second. There we go. She should be... Oh, no, she's not. She's got a bit of a chin on her, eh? There we go. Down she goes. Finally got her. All right, we didn't take any damage on that one, which is actually good. Does she have anything that I want? Let's take a look. So she's got a cloth shirt. Don't really care about that. With every item, there's two different things that you want to pay attention to. The construction of them. So it'll say if they are well made or not, and then it'll also say what condition they're in. And so keep an eye on that. Every now and again, you can get like a nice little defensive bonus from finding something that's like well made and also unworn. And so, you know, go through the items. Typically, you don't find them on zombies or whatever, but sometimes in treasure chests, the loot is procedural. You'll find good stuff in here from time to time. A somewhat crude, thick long coat in fair condition. Is that better than what I've got right there with my tunic? Looks like it's about the same, but it looks nicer, so I'm going to go ahead and wear it. There's a couple busted tools and things in here, but nothing that I'm actually interested in fighting enemies with. All right, let's carry on this way, and we will try to find our first ally. There's a guy named Derrin in the dungeon, and I always kind of like, I don't know, dude. The layouts to the dungeons in this game are sort of like, it's not random. It's the same dungeon every single time, but like the rooms don't really like make sense, I guess is the best way to describe it. Like, things are in non-logical places, I guess. Like, it seems like there's just like a room here, room there, and it can be very, very disorienting as you play the game. So if you get lost in the dungeon, don't feel too bad about it. It happens to me, and I've played this level probably about 1,000,000 times. Are you hostile? You are hostile. Okay. All right. Well, let's do this dance. There we go. That was a nice solid hit right there. Go ahead and drag him back. Little one right there, right to the spine, and down he goes. Okay. There is a, as you can see, like, I've played for about 10 hours. Like, I know how to fight guys. Like, I don't want anybody to get the wrong idea, though, and think that I'm, like, good at this game. I've played for, like, 10 hours. I really should be killing enemies a lot faster and a lot more effectively. That right there is actually pretty good. I'll throw that on right now. Lots and lots of resists on that guy. So at least our torso is looking like it's got, like, a 1.5 of defense now towards, like, every damage type with favor towards slashing. So that's really, really nice. That'll kind of help us. It'll help keep us from accumulating red bar. I don't remember if there's a treasure chest back here. You should definitely kind of scan through all the areas because all of the items that are laying on shelves and stuff are interactable. And every now and again, you'll find something good like a pair of chain gloves or something like laying around. I haven't really memorized all the loot spawns, but there are static loot spawns and there are random loot spawns, and you never quite know what you're going to get. This room definitely has a treasure chest in it. I remember this room. So we've got like a limbic holder or whatever that is. There's a jacket right here. It's not bad. It gives us crush resistance. The downside is that with this like pea coat right here, we can't wear bracers because it's got sleeves on it. And so anyways, but it does give us a little bit of extra defense, so I'll take it. I'm going to break out my torch again because I can't really see. And let's keep on trucking. Are you hostile? Most of the ones wandering the halls are not hostile. It's usually the ones that are in rooms, like guarding something, that are hostile. They can also bump into each other too hard, and zombies will fight each other. They actually can aggro one another, which is actually fairly hilarious when it happens. Like, one zombie will be cruising down a hallway and bump into another zombie. Like, hey, just bump into me, bro? Bro, are you trying to fight me, bro? And then they'll just get into, like, a drunk guy brawl in the middle of the alley. We've got a waistcoat over here. I'm going to take the shield, and I'm going to take the waistcoat, because we're about to have a party member in a minute, and having that extra gear can be helpful. There's another lore book right there on the table. The lore books can be very, very useful for sort of, like, orienting yourself and figuring out exactly, like, what's going on in the dungeon. They never, like, truly give you the answer, but from what I understand, there's necromancers, there's evil dark magics, all that fun stuff. He doesn't want to fight, which I actually think is totally acceptable. It's hard to go through life fighting everybody. Over here is a plot critical item, a key that's laying on a table. You gots to have that key, otherwise you will not advance much further in this game. This dead guy right here, he's got a note on him for lore. He's got a well-made light waistcoat in worn condition. He's got a mediocre pair of boots in decent condition. I'll take those. We've got a light shirt, a mediocre light elegant shirt in a worn condition. I mean, they said it was elegant, though, so, like, if it's a baller shirt, I'll take it. Oh, mine's already elegant. Never mind. They tricked me with promises of elegance. I can't help it. All right, so this door right here, we can oh, there we go. We can unblock this door right here. And so if I take that beam and kind of, like, move it, there we go. We can take this little table right here, and we can move it. We can't move the barrel, though, strangely enough. But you can kind of swack it with the door hard enough that it'll open up. A bunch of zombies inside of here, but they are not hostile zombies. And I don't think there's anything inside that room that's next to them, if I remember correctly. I'm going to say that a lot during the course of this episode, if I remember correctly, because it has been a long time since I've touched on Exanima. I did like an arena. I said before I started playing again, I did like a set of like arena fights just to get myself back into the combat system. And then I kind of just dove in and started recording to see what was different. And thus far, that door is locked. Okay, does this key open that door? I know what doors this key does open, but actually, I don't think I've ever tried to use it on this door right here. If you want to use a key, you double-click on it. No, it does not unlock that door. It'll make kind of an unlocking noise if it actually worked. So you double-click on the key, it'll give you a targeting reticle, and then you choose what door you want to use it on. I don't know if this person's going to be hostile. Okay, room full of dead guys. Nothing on that dude. We got some interesting looking... Oh, I tripped and hit my head on the floor. Every time, man. Every time. Very well made pair of boots. Yeah, I'll take those. It says they're very well made, so I figure the condition probably matters a little bit less. Most of those clothes are busted. There's a chest over here on the wall, though, so we'll check that for anything that might be useful, too. We've got a belt. We've got a pair of pants, but they're pretty beat up, so we won't wear them. I don't remember what's through this door. Oh, it's locked. Looks like the lock, or the key doesn't work on that lock either. Okay. I've actually, like, I know what doors that key goes to because I've played before. But that being said, I don't think I've ever tried to use it on all the doors that are around here. Oh, we leveled up. You can press the K key at any time in order to select a new ability. I'd like to go with Close Combat, and I'd like to go with Remise. That allows you to basically swing back and forth a little bit faster. Skills are learned in this game by accumulating XP as you kill stuff, basically. So what'll happen is this little bar will fill in, and once it fills in, you will now have this ability, and then you'll pick another one, and it'll start to fill in from any of these little areas. Insight and Concentration are mostly for magic. Ranged Combat, I don't think was in the game the last time I played it. Shields, pretty self-explanatory. Armor, pretty self-explanatory. Close Combat, pretty self-explanatory. Alright, so we'll close that down, and in here, we should meet Derrin. There he is. Good old Derrin. Press T key with your mouse over who you want to talk to him. Who are you? Just a farmhand. My name's Derrin. What are you doing here? Got attacked by bandits. They robbed me and then threw me in here. I see. You see, I didn't do nothing. So, like, it does seem odd. How did you get here? Can you get out? I intend to. What about the dead ones? They don't seem very aggressive. I've just been avoiding them. One of them chased me. I'll die if I stay here. Maybe we can get out together. Yeah, let's help each other out. All I've got is this stick. Well, let's be on our way. But you can't talk to this guy. There we go. We'll talk to Derrin real fast, and we can actually look at his equipment, and we can equip him with some of the stuff that we've just been carrying around with us as we've been going through the level. So there we go. We'll give him a shield right there. Actually, I kind of want him to have the two-hander. Yeah, Derrin, you use the battle axe, man. I've been doing pretty good with the battle axe, but you're an AI. That means you're just going to do better than me. There's a chest that's hidden back over here, just in case. We'll go ahead and take a look at it. Looks like we've got a jacket, actually, right there, but it's a mediocre jacket in bad condition, so there's also another lore book on the table. Okay, so now that we've got a little bit of actually, what we could do... Hold on a second. Let me see your equipment. You go back to holding the stick, and you take the torch. You're going to be my designated light holder, actually, so that I can use the two-hander. There we go. You're my designated torch buddy. All right, let's cruise, Derrin. Let's go do our thing. I do have the key that I need already, and we've pretty much picked through this entire area. There's always a mace inside that cart right there, so if you make it this far without a weapon, I don't know how you would do that, but if you make it this far without a weapon, there's a mace inside there. I don't really like the blunt weapons. You got to really, really use the physics to hit them with the knobbly part. Otherwise, you get, like, no damage. But, you know. Derrin, you're falling behind, brother. See, I almost walked into a zombie right there. See, you did walk into a zombie, and now she's aggroed, bro. Now she's all grumpy pantsed out. Is she? Can't tell. We'll see if she follows us. I thought she aggroed because he bumped into her. She actually did not follow, so I think she was not actually aggroed. She was just kind of like a little bit aggroed. One thing I do very much like about this game is the lighting effects. The lighting effects are done just fantastically well. We got to use our key. Open this guy up. Okay, that was a little aggressive. That was a little aggressive. No bad guys to be seen just yet. We'll go one door at a time, since we don't really know what might be around here. I spy with my little eye a treasure chest. So we've got a collar. We've got a jacket over here. We've got a tunic. Okay. We don't really need any of that. I don't see anything else on the shelves, but I'm sure at least at one point in this video, there will be somebody that's like memorized Exanima. This game has a very, very passionate community. They really, really, really like Exanima. And so this is one of those games you'll find people that know like virtually everything about. Like they'll know where every single thing you could ever want is like squirreled away, hidden behind some boxes. I don't think there's any reason for us to be in the jail area. So there's a pretty simple solution to that. I'm not going to be in the jail area. I don't remember if this guy aggroes. He seems like he's in a spot where he's going to aggro. He's definitely going to aggro. We kind of don't want to fight him till this guy goes away, though. There it is. All right, Derrin. Oh, he blocked my weapon. He chambered me. A little bit of damage right there. That's okay, though. Derrin, are you dying? I don't really have an angle right here. There we go. I got him a little bit right there. There he goes. He's down. Cool. We took a little bit of damage, but we didn't take any permanent damage, and that's usually going to be due to our layered armor that we've got on. You got anything good on you, brother? Probably not. I mean, he's a zombie, dude. What good loot would a zombie have on him? And I think we just got into a fight in this room for nothing, unless there's something on this skeleton over here. Nothing on the skeleton. Skeleton devoid of all loot. You can actually, so you can ask Derrin how he's feeling, and you can use healing items on Derrin should you require to do so. Actually, that two-hander, that little hook is nice. Sir, I'm just going to sneak right past you here. There's no need for any aggro. There's no need for any drama. Okay, I'm just going to sneak past you. We both go our separate ways. We let each other, you know, live, laugh, love, all of those things that you know, throw up on a wall. I don't remember if this one's aggro either. Most of the ones in rooms are. Are you a bad zombie? You are a bad zombie. You're a zombie that wants me to hurt. There we go. I already got her. It's okay, Derrin. Stand down, Derrin. Stand down. I took care of the situation. Let me take a look at Derrin's armor real fast, because I see a couple things on here. Mediocre waistcoat. Fairly well-made boots. Derrin. I would like them to add a hotkey to where you can just open your companion's inventory right away. Yeah, those boots are better than what you have. You can just throw those boots on the ground where they belong. I don't like his weapon right now. I'd prefer him to have something else. His weapon is really, really ineffective. Like, what I've found is a lot of the blunt weapons and things that are just improvised, like a table leg or whatever, not great. Not great. You gotta really get those things up to a high speed to get them to deal any real damage. And usually that means whipping your character so hard in order to get that like velocity of swing that it leaves you overexposed even if you connect. And so like, I don't know. I don't tend to like the one-handed Blunty Boy stuff. I don't remember which way I came in from. I think over here. Nope, definitely not over here. Aha! Over here. Alright, so let's go through this door over here. They're looking at me, but I don't think they're going to do anything. This door also opens with the same key that we got from earlier. There we go. This room could be a little bit of a trap. There's a lot of zombies that kind of just like wander through this room. And so like you can end up with a lot of aggro on accident. Another fun thing is you can play checkers with the little checkers on the table over here. Due to, you know, the physics system, you can just kind of like, you know, you can set up like a little checkers game over here. I mean, they don't have enough checkers to actually play checkers, so I don't know what they thought they were playing, but they definitely don't have enough checkers to do it. I'm going to pick up these dice. These are my lucky dice. I always pick these up when I come through here. Those are my lucky dice right there. You know, some people They have, like, I don't know, like a lucky narwhal. Some people have, you know, like a lucky shoelace. A crude woodcutter's axe in reasonable condition. There's also a skull cap. I'll take that. Throw that on real quick. Ain't nothing scarier than a head hit in this game. You get hit in the head, that's a issue. That's like your entire health bar just got torpedoed. Let's see here. Oh, we're out of time, dude. Okay, well, this is Exanima. I am not good at Exanima. I am passable at Exanima. Like, I can get by. But, that being said, I do think that it's a pretty cool game. I don't think it's a game for everybody. I think this is one of those very polarizing games that, like, there is a certain hardcore community that loves the hell out of this game. And then, like, there's kind of a community that's just like, this game is clunky, and it's got, like, drunk people fighting each other, and, like, I'm frustrated, I don't want to play anymore. And, like, I sort of understand both parties, because, like, on one level, this is a very, very unique game with very, very unique and interesting gameplay that, like, I personally get really addicted to. But if somebody plays Exanima and they're like, it wasn't for me, like, I totally get it. Like, I'm not one, like, it's not a game that's for everybody. It's just flatly a weird RPG that is not for everybody. But if you find that it gets the itch going, this is one of those games that'll keep you awake late into the night, just, you know, messing yourself up. I think that's a plot-relevant item right there. I think you need that for something, but my memory is not good, and I don't remember what I might need it for. Ooh, those boots are actually kind of fancy. That zombie that ran away will eventually come back. Sorry, I got caught up looking at my loot. Oh, there's another dice over here. Sweet. What is that, a whetstone? Oh, yeah. Ooh, a bill hook. Yeah, I definitely want that. We'll put the scythe on Derrin because it's better than that crappy club that he's got. I really, really like the scythe. The scythe, you can do some nasty stuff with it by swinging and backstepping, and like mid-fainting, you'll still get damage. Like, the scythe is actually kind of a curious weapon in this game because it's so much shorter than like everything else that you can kind of do like weird things with it that you can't do with other weapons. But anyways, my name is Splattercat. I sift through the pile to find what's worthwhile in the world of indie games every single day so you don't have to. Today up on the chopping block, we had Exanima. This game has been in development for a really, really long time, but they just pushed out a chonky content patch that just added a whole bunch of stuff to the game, so I figured we'd swing back on through and re-increase awareness about the fact that the game actually exists and is still in early access. If you have the game, might be time to check back in on it if you found you enjoyed it last time. If you don't have the game, watch a couple videos. You know, go watch a couple tutorial videos on how the combat works and get a feel for it sort of like thematically in your head. But definitely do your research before you buy this game, because I don't think this is a game that's for everybody, but I do think that it's a game that's like really, really fun. So anyways, now that zombie's been dealt with and I've gotten done beating my friend Derrin with my billhook, my name is Splattercat. I sift through the pile to find what's worthwhile in the world of indie games every single day so you don't have to. I'll see y'all tomorrow with something hot and fresh off the indie skillet. Bye.